Hey everybody, I'm here today to show you how to stay centered in your lane while driving. I'm going to be going over a few things that you can keep in mind and a few tips to help you stay in the center of your lane while you are driving. Let's get right to it. The first tip, and in my opinion, the most important tip, is to look ahead in your lane while you're driving. So look far ahead in your lane while you're driving. You don't want to look to the right, you don't want to look to the left, you don't want to look at anything else other than far ahead in your lane while you're driving, okay? Once again, you don't want to look right in front of you. You want to look far ahead in your lane while you're driving. That will allow you to stay centered because you're looking far enough ahead and your mind is focusing far ahead that you keep that focal point and you stay centered. When you're going around a curve, just like I'm about to do right now, you want to look far ahead into the curve. You don't want to look right in front of you at the turn. You want to look far ahead into the curve where you are headed, okay? So far ahead is the first tip. The second tip, keep your hands equal distance from the center of the steering wheel, okay? So once again, if the center of the steering wheel is right here, I want to keep my hands equidistant, equal distance from the center, okay? Not like this, not like this, equal distance. Whether you keep them like this, like this, like this, doesn't really matter as long as they are equal distance from the center of the steering wheel. What that's going to do is that's going to allow you to keep your steering wheel nice and straight, okay? You're not going to be slanted to one side, you're not going to be slanted to the other side. You're going to keep it nice and straight. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3, keep your hands nice and loose. If you're gripping the steering wheel really tightly, you might make these hard gestures. You don't want to do that. Keep your hands nice and loose, because when you're driving, in order to stay centered in the lane, you need to make these tiny little adjustments. And the only way that you can accomplish that is by keeping your hands nice and loose. If your hands are super tight and super stiff, you're not going to be able to make the small adjustments. You're going to make harsh adjustments. You want to make those tiny little adjustments just like that. So keep your hands firmly, gripping the steering wheel, but not tight, super tight. Keep them nice and loose so you can make those easy little adjustments. And the last tip for this video, and in my opinion, a very important tip, is to not focus on the car in front of you, not focus on the lines of the road beside your lane, not focus on the lane lines, but just focus ahead. So I already said focus ahead, but don't focus on the car in front of you, because what happens is if the car in front of you drifts a little bit to the left, you're going to drift a little bit to the left. If the car in front of you drifts a little bit to the right, you're going to drift a little bit to the right. So if you focus on the car in front of you, you're pretty much doing whatever that car is going to do, and you don't want to do that. Now, another thing is don't focus on the lane lines. If you focus on the lane lines, what's going to happen is if you focus on the right lane line, you're going to drift to the right. If you focus on the left lane line, you're going to drift to the left. So you need to just focus ahead. Don't worry about the car in front of you. Don't focus on the car in front of you, and don't focus on the lane lines. That's basically it. That is how to stay centered in your lane while you're driving. I've gone over a few tips. Use these tips to your advantage, and you will be able to easily stay in the center of your lane when you're driving. You're not going to drift to the left. You're not going to drift to the right. You're not going to drive too closely to the curb. You're not going to drive too far away and too closely to the other lane line. You're going to literally drive centered in your lane, which is what you want. Driving centered in your lane is a driving skill that is easy to master, but you have to sort of use these tips and master these tips, and you'll definitely be able to stay centered. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.